Hi guys, welcome to the Unpopular Opinion. I'm Kemi,
Claire,
Prim.
and we're real,
Raw,
and we're saying it all. Guys, welcome back to yet another episode. As always, we are excited to have you. Thank you for joining us every single week. And also, to the guys who are with us but you haven't subscribed, I don't know, but I think where we've reached.
What is it?
Haven't you done enough?
No, thank you. What? You guys, we've been trying to film that reel. It was chaos. It was chaotic. But it's okay. It's all right. So today's topic is it's about women navigating workspaces, and it's different. That's just the truth of things. It's a debate we've had like so many. I'm sure even you guys have had so many times with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues. I imagine even in the workplace, navigating a workplace as a woman is different. It's different from the experiences of men, and we just want to talk a little bit about our experiences, our thoughts on some of these things, and I kind of put this down as little statements, and then you just go, right? So, because I feel like the way I'll say them, you'll have a thought that will come to your mind, and then you just go with it. I'm trying something new. Just go along with me. Okay. She slept around.
That's how she got that promotion.
Right?
That's how she got that promotion. That's how she got this job.
Right? And then people don't say that about men.
Yeah.
Never once have I had someone say that man has slept his way to the top.
Yeah, and even if he has,
They're like, guys just being guys.
boys are boys.
Like, oh yeah, the MD really ties on him. The MD is obsessed with him, but he's
And
not
it becomes the
interested.
MD that is the problem.
She's the problem.
She's really obsessed with him, and she's
Oh my God, what a toxic world to be a woman in. Like sometimes it's just really difficult.
Like sometimes you're like, it's 2024, but is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
We still have some 1950s swimming around.
And the interesting thing is, I would understand it if men had these. But the interesting thing, the saddest part about it is that it's women.
Yeah, a lot of women talk like that.
It's women. A lot of the time, it's women.
I'll never forget being in a workplace and men are doing, actually, because it was something that happened to me and happened to other ladies. We are there seeing like this of a guy is inappropriately touching someone or whatever. And I'm like, that's not okay. Or me, I'm like, hey, by the way, no, you actually don't have that sort of access to me. And the women are the ones who are like, no, we're relaxed.
he just plays like that with you.
Just like
that.
how he is.
How
I'm sorry,
Do
you
think
are
you're special?
just how that's how
then
you
become
are.
a bitch.
Yes.
It's you always a bitch because you have boundaries.
You're saying no to, because that's sexual assault, sexual abuse. It is. It really is.
I hate it for us.
Yeah.
May we continue to. I feel like definitely I feel like we're in a different place, but also there's so many things that are still the same.
Yeah.
And we have to do better. Okay. Another statement. Let me go to you, Claire. She's a bitch.
That's how they talk about you if you are a boss and assertive as a woman. But never if you're a man.
For a man, it's like, no, he's just commanding
Yeah,
the
that's
space.
just
I love that.
Yeah.
He's confident. Wow. It's a good boss.
And when you stand up for yourself,
He's tough when you cross that line.
yeah. But when you're a woman,
she's hormonal. She's unhappy. She's not having sex. It's because
she's a
she's
bitch.
single.
She needs to get married.
It's why she's
looking
living
for a
alone.
child. There's always so many.
I think she's bitter because she has not had children.
Yeah.
She's just angry at the rest of us because for us we
And
have
again,
kids.
these things are said by women. It's so sad.
We need to stop talking like that about ourselves, women.
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we uplift each other? And the truth is that also like there's so many. I still remember like my friend, because she was working in a place where she had a really mean female boss, and of course there are also male bosses that are not nice. I don't know why it hurts more when it's a woman being mean to a woman. Maybe it's because we know our experiences.
Yeah.
And it irks me more when I see a woman being mean to a woman, and she's constantly taking you down. She doesn't, even when you do something right, it's always you could have this and you could have that. And I hate it for us.
Yeah.
But you see,
I
Fiona,
hate it.
I'm going to tell you something that I've been in a space where, as a woman, this is going to be very unpopular, but anyway, it's also true. I've also been in a place where we could also do better. I've been in a place where I am just like, as if, guys, we all need to come to work. Let's all do this and that and that. And someone gives you such a flimsy excuse about not being there. And in my head, I'm like, the women that fought for your right to be able to work must be turning in their graves. Like, guys, people marched. People marched for us to be in this space.
Yeah.
Do not spit on their graves by taking this for granted.
Yeah, yeah.
Granted, people, like, yes, we are not being treated well and stuff, but there are times where, honestly, we are also not showing up as much as we are supposed to or as much as we could, you get. And we are stuck. We also won't take away the fact that some of us get stuck in the identities we've created for ourselves. Like, oh, for like, you're incompetent, you're not showing up, you're not, you get this opportunity and you misuse it, and you just keep running with, like, different excuses, like, oh, for me it's because this and that, for me da, da, da. But when you're telling that story, you'll be telling the story of, I was a woman, and for me they did this and that to me at work. But how about sometimes we also sit with ourselves and think, you get, how are you contributing, not to the patriarchy, but how are you at some points contributing to some of these things in your life, you get. Some of us honestly have had the opportunities and the privileges to work, and for me, I treat it as such. I feel like there are women that came before me that ensured
That you
that
can work.
I can work, that ensured that I can do these things. So I will not abuse the rights they fought for. I'll not abuse this space. Like, every woman that I didn't meet that made sure that I have this kind of opportunity, I will not spit on their graves like that. So we can't also rule out the roles and the parts that we play in these places.
I mean, empowerment is only as good as also what we are, like, what are we portraying in order to earn, or at least to try to earn. Because, man, there's some blatant inequalities in our experience, not inequalities, differences in our experiences. Because I had the privilege of spending part of March with some women in research, and I don't know much about the academia space. I've never been much of an academic myself, but I remember they were talking about how the thing of reproductive rights and reproductive responsibilities, actually, in particular, how I'll apply for a grant to go and, I don't know, do my PhD, and my male counterpart will apply. But for me, there's always the consideration of, how old is she? Is she about to give birth? She married what? And if you already have a child, it lessens your chances.
Yeah.
And men, no matter the circumstance, or why you have 2 children at home, for them anytime,
They
time
can
to stand
go.
up and go.
Yeah.
And even when the woman gets that grant, she goes over there with a child. She has to do what? Breastfeed.
And
there are
these
facilities
things are
for that?
not
Are there-
facilitated.
is that grant bigger to accommodate the additional
Help
needs? No.
that, yeah.
And I was like, you guys, and unfortunately, because we don't know those things, like, we don't always have that information, it's easy to sit with men and they say, I've heard men say, oh, but you guys now have the same opportunities. You now, and people love that kind of thing of the other, what is it, 1 point? What is it,
Like a
1.5?
point they give us at campus.
1.5.
People are like, you even have that one? Therefore, you guys are actually we are now
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
And yet our experiences,
It's
you
completely
guys,
different. And I think people,
are not the same.
yeah, people confuse equality for equity. Yeah. So equality, yes, we're all able to work. We should all have the same pay. We should all have the same, basically, opportunities. However, equity comes in that a man is able to do this and this under these circumstances, and a woman is not. A woman is able to do this and this and this in these circumstances, and a man is not. And then accommodate the different needs of the different circumstances.
Yeah.
For example, in 2024, why are we still not providing breastfeeding
Spaces.
If you have female staff, you get, why aren't we able to give daycares, let's say, at workplaces? Because for a fact, a woman is going to work so much better
If her child is
when she knows her child is
I've seen
safe
it
and
with
okay.
with the people that I supervise. You find that they spend so much time of the day trying to call home and find out.
And find out how are they.
Yeah,
The child
how
is
are
sick.
children.
That woman is not going to work.
Yeah.
And again,
She'll leave
that
work
responsibility usually lies on the woman, not the man.
Yeah.
You know. So for as much as we've been given the opportunities, it's not it's not the same thing, because we have not been given a fair playing ground.
Yeah.
You get, because we don't have the same responsibilities as men, and vice versa, and yet we are required to have the same or better output. You get, but remember, women don't. If you are the breastfeeding mothers have only 3 months of sick leave,
Yeah. Of maternity
of
leave.
maternity leave. Yeah. So you've left your 3-month-old baby that can barely carry their head, probably with a stranger. How do you think I'm going to work properly? You get, and yet everyone's telling you we all did it. You get, they
Like, get
don't
over
sympathize.
it. They're like, get over it. You're not the first one.
Get over it.
Because
You're not the
we
first
glorify
one.
suffering for women.
Exactly.
Wow,
Exactly. Women can suffer. It's okay. And for me, that's where now the workplace now is becoming a place that has normalized inequality in terms of equity for women over men.
Let us so talk about the fact that women for faith. One of the things I saw was how I would see my colleagues who have had like children. You'll find that her maid leaves or her house help or nanny leaves, and she has to stay at home abruptly. It's like there's even like no silent. It's like a silent agreement. No one is even going to talk about it. There's no question about it. It's the woman that is forfeiting work. The husband is going to work. She stays home because there's no nanny. She stays home, blah, 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 like 3-4 days. She's desperately looking for a nanny, a week. And meanwhile, Bambi, she's sending in apologies. I'm so sorry I can't make it. I'm so sorry I can't make it. Because there's literally no one to leave the kids with. No one, absolutely. Then the new nanny comes and they have to take another 2-3 days off to train the new nanny and show them how to get around and how to do things, blah, blah, blah. How many days are those that this person has not worked? Like, say, 10 days or out of the workspace. So remember, we are all required to sit for the same promotional interviews. We are required to fill the same appraisal forms, be appraised and held to the same exact standard. So, and then the time that we take off to, like, say, have children, the time that we take off to, I don't know, like, it's longer, you know. And you find that there are some organizations that outrightly or quietly don't tell you, but they don't like hiring people in childbirth, you know, age group. They don't, because they just feel like, they're like, oh, how many kids do you have? You're like, 2.
As an employer, I can tell you that it is a pain. It is a pain.
I mean, it's part of the reality of being a woman.
It is a pain. It is. I
And
don't know what we're going to do
that
about
people don't want
it.
to employ you because guess what?
It is a pain as an employer, and I employ only women. 100% of my staff are women, and it is extremely irritating when someone tells you they have to leave because their child is sick. So who's going to do your job? You get, including me, by the way. I'm a mom, and quite often I have to take off because my kid is sick, or maternity leave. So now I have to pay your maternity leave while pay someone else
to take your place.
To take your place.
Yeah.
You get, now for a small business like mine, that can be crippling. That can be crippling. You get, or you get, but anyway, it's just now. As a business owner, I can tell you it is a pain. The women with kids are more. That is the reality. That the reality is it is easier to have single women or women who have no children or whose children are older than have those ones whose children are children, because babies get sick all the time. You get, and they have needs, they have what. Now I have put in place systems that help, but it's still a pain. It's still at a cost to the business, to the employer. If, for example, I have to set, even when I had my daughter, I created a care center, but all my staff can bring their children to the school. They go to school for free, and they have free daycare if the baby's a baby. So you can breastfeed, you can feed and stuff. But obviously, that is at a cost to me and to the school. You get. So when you step away to go and breastfeed your baby, who's going to stay
with these other kids
that are looking, who is looking after? So now I have to be able to fill that. Does that make sense? So it's a catch-22. I've been an employer. I honestly don't know how we rectify it. Is it rectifiable? Or do we just have to sit down and bear with it?
Ooh, you guys should tell us.
But also, there's
I'm curious now to understand how bigger organizations maybe also are doing it.
going forward.
Because now you're a smaller, organization, and you are employing only women. Actually, it's you who should be teaching us.
I mean, the best thing you can do is provide. The best thing I've done is provide space for them to bring their kids.
Yeah.
You get, but there's nothing I can do about sickness.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. If your child is sick, your child is sick. There's nothing you're going to do. Your job is not more important, and I will not pretend that it is. You get, so I will give that provision of your child is sick. But what if your child is sick for 2 full weeks?
What then?
Or what if your child is sick 2 days out of every week for the whole term? It's at a cost to me. You understand? And it's not just a cost financially, but a cost. So if a teacher is not regular in the class, the performance of the class, and it trickles down, it's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
So I like when we talk about things to do with employees, because I have been both.
Yeah.
So I can give a little bit more perspective
As an employer,
as an employer.
Three inspired souls brought together by love are set on a life-changing journey.
This is your life, Mackenzie. This is no longer a dream.
It's just something about Mackenzie.
I'll never marry.
Your position does not allow you to break work relationship rules.
Where choices change everything. Crossroads, weekdays at 8 p.m. on Power Magic Prime. DStv channel 148, GoTV channel 303.
Actually, this one is not a statement. I was just going to, because it just came to my mind, I was going to say that, do you think that sometimes, I remember a woman one time saying this, because she was generally considered a ball buster, just like to say that she was considered aggressive in her leadership.
Yeah.
And then, so we were talking about it, and she was saying, but how else? She's like, I'm a woman. Men don't take me seriously when I don't bust balls.
Yeah.
And I was like, you've made a point.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, in many places, they don't respect women until they put their foot down.
Yeah.
And the moment you put your foot down,
You're aggressive.
You're a
You
witch.
are angry. You're
know.
angry.
it's
There's
being a
something, I
woman
pity her husband.
Yeah.
It's being a woman.
I
is
pity
quite
the man who stays with her.
it's a balancing act that can make you a bit
You
mad.
have to kind of do like this.
Like you see us here walking around in heels and so on and so forth. That's why I wear sneakers, because you don't know.
He wants strong
I don't
water.
But also for me, I feel like I think so much into like every step that I make, because I'm like, I need to draw boundaries more. Like I need to be very firm. Like I stopped. Like there's certain things that I had to do when my position changed, that I normally would have just been like more free and casual and stuff. But I also realized that the moment you let your guard down, someone is just able to take advantage of that. Someone is able to, throw that back at you. And it's not just like the male colleagues, it's also the female colleagues, because there's that whole thing of how dare she? How dare she? Or there's also the whole, I don't think she deserves that. I don't think she deserves that position.
Yeah.
You're held to a higher and tougher standard than the other people.
Yeah.
And you see, there's that thing where they keep saying, sure, why did they give this to her and not to him? You get, there's always a him that is a better replacement or choice that would effortlessly earn their respect, that would effortlessly get them to do things than you would. You get, and there are times that you, as sometimes you find that there are some female leaders that will be like, you know what, let me find a guy who is my person, right? Who is like the bridge between me and these other people. So imagine you find that you keep going to this guy, like, could you please ask these guys to do this and that? Could you please ask these guys to do this and that? But then at the end of the day, people are just like, so, but who runs this place? We all know it's so and so. Now they'll still like find ways to like mock you or laugh about it or something like that. But I've also realized that it takes so much, like there's so much women have to put in place to get respected, to get some decency, you get. And it's like you have to outrightly, I don't know, demand it, or like there's so much you have to do, to put in for people to finally recognize that this person is not.
That's the boss.
Yeah, that's the boss. And I remember I used to be such, not used to be such a, but there's a time I had a female supervisor, and I used to give her such a hard time. I swear to God, one day I woke up, like just jumped out of sleep like this, sat on my bed, And I opened my Bible and read it. I read a verse and I remember seeing her message at like 2 a.m. and I was like, I am going to serve you and I'm going to respect you. And each time you need someone, that is going to be me. And I've decided since then going forward that I'm going to make it quite easier for the women that lead me. I will give them their respect and I will silently serve them so that I can enable, like, because I feel like I know what you're going through. I know what it means for you to like take a stand. You get, when you take a stand, people will meet in corners and just be like, did you see how she said this and that? Did you see how she's very, she's very toxic? I think she woke up on the wrong side of bed, like all sorts of statements. I see what it takes for you. I feel like with female leadership, I feel like, I see you. I feel like I want to quietly say, I see you, sis. I can understand what it's taken for you to even get to this place. Some of them have had the things that they forfeit, Fiona, the things that they forfeit, the things they give up for them to attain certain like levels of leadership. Some have not been present for the milestones of their children. Some have not been, at home, their marriages are suffering, their families are suffering, all of it. But also that feeling that they didn't earn it. There's a way that people around you feel like you didn't earn that. You didn't work hard enough. You get, because you see, you've seen that show of like if Kaya had given his empire not to Subi, to like say Dylan or someone else, you'd have noticed how everyone is just like, guys, let us just support him.
Obviously, like it's like he should be the one to take over.
Because it's sort of like, oh, he's the son, he's the heir. Like there's more respect of. It's like literally he has come in the picture of his father. Guys, this is it. This is Mr. Kaya reincarnated. But now here she is. She's also really brilliant. She's able to run this empire, but she's going to face so much resistance. First of all, finally, that's not her mom, not being, that's not her real mom.
She had
and stuff.
Yes,
she had an added disadvantages, exactly, of being, a bastard child. But the truth is, who knows? If given a chance, she could also. Who is more capable? You've seen Abby in Crossroads. People feel like, oh, it's just because that's your dad's cup, and it's daddy's girl. It's daddy's girl. But like, she's capable. You're not giving her the chance to actually show she's capable. You already biased. You already have a bias because you're just like, it's a woman.
It's a constant, like, we have to continuously work on where our minds are at in how we see other women inclusive, because those things are so already preconceived. We've grown up with them and they're set somewhere inside us. It's a conscious stopping and being like, oh, actually, like how you say that you woke up in the night and you read this verse and you're like, hey, hold up. I've been acting this type of way. That's actually not who I want to be for this woman or other women who are going to lead me one day, or the leader you want to become. So it's a conscious. I feel like we have to keep choosing it every day.
I used to expose her weaknesses. Like I would be there saying, do you know that she doesn't even know how to do this? Do you know that she doesn't know what to do? Do you know this and that and that? And people also people would listen. And I remember like one was just like, why am I doing this to her?
Yeah.
Why?
Quite often we like, for example, a man will come and he doesn't cook at home, he doesn't do anything at home. He literally comes home, takes off his socks and goes onto the couch and watches TV until bedtime and sleeps until the next morning and back to work.
And they also tell you, don't make noise for daddy.
But then a woman is going to do the same thing and people are going to blame her for the failure of the marriage because she's a career woman.
Imagine if Claire, one of us here, said that for me when I get home, I shower and just take care of myself
and just sit in the couch. Whatever happens, it would.
We would be on.
It wouldn't even be men. It would be fellow women.
Yes, like so
you don't cook for your husband.
So who takes
you? Don't.
That's why we have taken this man from
that
you.
Is not.
That's why.
That's why someone else is going to take your man. You understand?
Man.
However, we live in a world where you both have to work.
Lately, yes.
You both wake up at 6. You both leave the house at 7.
Right.
You both work 8 hours. You both bring bread home.
Reminds me of that meme of, if I send you this meme, it means that you should come home early. Oh, Mama, there's no microwave. Those memes that have been, this meme means I'm not coming back home to eat your cold food.
Either microwave thing, but you can imagine that now for you, you've come, you've come back home, yeah? But your business, it's none of your business to be in the kitchen. Your kitchen is none of your business. But I've also come home at the same time as you.
Such in
Yeah.
the same traffic.
But you're not even making my life easier by saying, okay, 2 minutes in the microwave and give me my food. You're also saying, I don't eat microwave food. Why? I don't know. What radiation? What is the problem with microwaves? Listen, anyway. So without a real reason, other than the fact that for you, you're an African man. Yeah. Other than the fact that for you, this is how you grew up.
Me as me.
Me as me, I do not want microwave food. You want me to go outside, light a charcoal stove.
You don't
Yeah.
even say it. I'm imagining the smoke in my
Put
eyes.
your food
in my
on.
suit from
Yeah.
work.
I remember we've had the exact same day.
But
At
oh
work.
my God. I remember when I used to use taxis, I remember there's a time would be in traffic on Entebbe Road towards that Chibiye roundabout. And the traffic would be so bad, would be so stuck. Then you'd hear a woman saying, conductor, and a woman jumps out of the taxi. You see her jumping meanwhile, because borders Bugari. She's jumping like a hen, woo,
Run,
so that she can grab.
get home and
Yes,
cook.
yes, so that she can get a border to Katwe and then run and go and cook. And I'll be like, oh my God.
Hey, a lot of women is something. It's
This
different.
is 8 p.m.
Yes.
She goes and she's on the sigi like this, Awuja.
And when the children fall short somehow, who's to blame?
You know, women are held such a high standard.
It's too much.
Too much is given.
You're just Mother Mary, all of us here.
Too
Just
much is
Our
given.
standard
I
is
don't
in
know what
heaven,
much
the
has
men's
been.
standard is in hell. Because I don't understand how you can say we are 50-50 home.
In provision, yes, in the money.
50-50 is 50-50. It should be 50-50. If you're saying we are doing 50-50, let's do 50-50. If you're saying you're bringing money, we are both bringing money, even at home, even in parenting, even in social, everything should be 50-50. Because women are, contrary to popular belief, women are not superhero. We are exhausted. We are tired. You understand? We are just tired. The same tired you are. In fact, we are more tired than you. Because what? I don't get it. I don't understand how someone can come and say.
So then they have to overperform at work so that they're not easily let go of. Because when you're retrenching, the people you first consider like, so and so, she's always gone with her child. She's always doing what? She's always doing what? You know, and you see, it's also how, let's say sometimes if a mom, like say her husband gets like a certain chronic illness, see, she'll take time off and we'll go move with this person to different hospitals. Or together. They are going to India. The woman, if it's the woman, he'll just, the sister.
Yeah, the sister, the mother.
The sister of that woman comes, or the mother or a friend, to move in hospitals with her so that the man can remain at work unperturbed and also, And someone is going to say, oh, it's because so that she can be able to pay for the bills. But even when the woman is working,
she has to
she can be like, oh, gentleman, please go with your sister.
By the way, if you don't be there as a woman, the entire clan will judge you. Mostly the women.
Kianga, how did you think about it?
How are you at work that your husband is dying?
the standard is so high.
It is way too high.
I don't
Bring
even
it
know
down a
what's-
notch.
We all just need therapy because what's this?
Yeah.
Because we can't even avoid
But also
some of
note
these things.
that you have to support your husband in order for him to go and excel in boardrooms. You have to make sure
It's
That's
usually
if
all-
that
we
when he
start
comes
together.
home, he's relaxed. He's relaxed enough. His shirts are ironed and hung up according to color. So that he
who's
can,
going to
the shirt is
support
crisp
me
enough.
in my boardroom?
So the shirts are crisp enough for him to go and back in the boardroom. And and
The thing is,
even now that women in so many homes are the breadwinners. So many homes, they're the breadwinners. So, but they still have to do the whole, like, you knowing that she's the breadwinner means that maybe you make life easier for her to continue to earn this bread, right? But no, you still want her to come home and do all these things
and still cook for you food.
because God forbid you start saying that, oh, she has money. That's the problem. It's because she's the one who is paying the bills. That's the problem. That is the
And
problem.
by the way, it is always the woman's problem.
You can even tell her to stop working.
Always
You
the
know, sometimes when
woman's
people say that,
problem.
oh, the feminists are angry, whatever. I'm like, but there are many things to be angry about. Like, do we
Yeah.
sometimes pause and say, actually, women have many things to be angry about.
Have
you
you-
see us here managing ourselves? We are moving the office with cramps.
Yeah.
You're stressed.
Have you
there's so
noticed
much stuff to-
there's a trend now happening where women are like, you know what? Until men heal themselves, until men start looking at us like normal human beings and treating us as such, we're not doing men, we're okay. Single. A lot of women are coming out and saying that. It's a trend all over social. I've seen it all over social media, newsletters and stuff like that. Women are saying, no, enough is enough. Like very little, nothing is required of the man, but so much is required of the woman. But only when the man and the woman are together. So women are like, you know what?
It's all right.
It's so much easier for me to be on my own than to be. And we're finding that now. We're finding that there's a lot more single by choice. Not because you're yearning. Doesn't mean they're not lonely. It just means that they've just decided men are not for them. Not because they are of anything wrong, other than the fact that the statistics are that women take on 3 to 5 times, I don't remember the time, but more. When you get married, you take on 5 times or something, I don't remember the exact figure, more work and responsibility as a woman. You get, and a man's life becomes easier.
The fact
Must
that
be nice.
When you
the fact
get
that
married,
our husbands can just be there saying, "Oh, by the way, you should come home on Friday."
Then you're thinking now.
They've
Now,
not, meanwhile,
what do
they've
I
not,
cook?
Thank you. They've not told you anything.
The
Like,
curtains are not nice.
Let me
There's
buy
a
new
morning.
curtains. Let me-
there's a morning I
Let me buy
had to
new
leave
plates.
work because someone had invited people over to like our house, and I had to leave night shift at about 6 or 7. And I come in, and I remember when I was cooking. And while they were relaxing, obviously, reading the newspapers, then the visitors come, gets out, welcomes them, then he sees them, then he comes and tells me, we're like, they are your visitors.
welcome.
And yet they are his people. Is the one who
Who invited them and
them.
told them come to? Oh.
But isn't that
remember,
just
I was
mind-boggling?
just like, I was cooking. What? And don't get me wrong, I really love visitors, but please consult me and tell me when will you
'cause the
be
planning
yes,
involved
when will you be free
substantial.
and able to handle visitors?
Yeah.
When will you be able to prepare for these people? You're like, so and so wants to come, please, how do we prepare for them? So there I was, worked the whole night. I'm cooking. I've made sure that I've cleaned for these people to find a clean and neat house. So I'm like, after that, I was just so tired. Like after food, I was so tired. But also how they kept engaging me, but I was just exhausted to even like have a conversation. So when these people go away, I'm not saying this is what they thought, but there's a chance that they'll think, so-and-so's wife is very rude. So-and-so's woman wasn't welcoming, right? But they will not know that this woman is just
Has been slaving away.
she's exhausted. She's exhausted. She's just, and it's how it's so quick for us as relatives to say, oh, so and so's wife is so nasty. Our brother is a good person, but
But the
Hannah and the
woman.
wife. Our brother would have wanted to give us money, but the wife keeps telling him not to take care of us and blah, blah, blah. But it's because this woman is one who has to realistically say that, look, we have children going to school. We have to pay these bills. We have to... They also keep reminding you of the financial responsibility that's to come. So if we give this money to so-and-so, then what are we going to be left with? But for us, we're just quick to say, she's the bitch. She's the problem.
I think being a woman, in some ways, you have to, like, there has to be an acceptance that some ways you always be the bad guy. You just allow that, okay.
And it's
I'll be
okay,
the
you
bad
need to
guy.
be peace. And I think the fact that women have been raised to be the good guy constantly, we settle for a lot of BS because we don't want to be the bad guy. I will say, it's fine. I shall take one for the team. I can be the bad guy. I don't mind.
As we wind up, there's I remember in like, I don't know, maybe earlier this year when we were having a conversation about this, and again, I think it's just the inability to appreciate, because men are in a position of privilege that they can't see, because how could they possibly? How could they possibly step in our shoes? And so I feel like, I remember even then my encouragement was, why don't you read a little bit more and talk to women on that level? And listen, don't be about, but then the 1.5, but then because last year, it must have been last year, there was that like, I even remember my friend Bambi shared it with me. I like people share with me important things. My friend shared with me when that there's a lady, a European lady, if I'm not mistaken, who won a Nobel Prize for her research on that gender pay gap. And it's not just Africa, it's not just Uganda, it's the
Everywhere.
entire world, and especially in traditional professions, especially, you know, the finance, that, you know, these
Lawyers,
traditional
yeah.
spaces, the places that are really strictly set up, the pay gap is even wider there. Like, it's not just, like, it's not a thing that we say because we are looking for pity. Because I feel like sometimes feminism is reduced to, now the women just want us to feel bad for them, yet they have this, they have that. It's not that we don't recognize where we have come from. It's 2024. We really are living our grandmothers' wildest dreams. And yet there's still so much more to be done for the women after us. So I think educate yourself. Before you step out and tell a woman that we are doing too much, the feminists are saying this. Why are they saying it? Why are there those feelings behind it? Why is there some anger even? And not to say that it's good for us to come and scream at people, but where is that coming from?
Why?
Like, if you understand it, I think can give you a little bit more empathy. For the lot of women, you can't fully understand it when you're not a woman, true, but I think there's definitely some empathy to be had.
Yeah.
So
I
let's
think also
just-
people confuse the word feminism and what it means. There is female extremists, like people who think men are bad, and people who want to reduce men, and you get within that call themselves feminists. They abuse men, they do what, and then there's the feminists who just really just want equality.
I think
You know?
another thing is that we don't show as much grace for the feminist movement as we do for other movements.
Yeah.
Every movement in the history of
Has
time has had
a-
extremism.
Yes.
Every religion, I don't know what, politics, there's always extremists.
Yeah.
That exists. We have to acknowledge it, you know. But at the heart of feminism, what is it?
Yeah.
It is that
Equality.
it is that we are striving for equity, actually, for
A
men
better
and
world.
women,
Yeah,
you know, so that we can live, you know, create more opportunities for women to have decent livelihoods, to have decent experiences in homes and workplaces.
To not have to live
And
carefully
interestingly,
in a shell because of how they'll
Because
be,
of a woman.
how they'll
You're a
be
woman.
interpreted, like, or how people will.
Interestingly, I
treat
think we're
you.
going to have the opposite version in if we're not careful in how we raise our girls.
do you
The
mean?
current generation, we're going to have the opposite version of feminism. For men to have equality, because right now everything is about the woman. The woman has been empowered. The woman has been, we're trying, really, we are. Yes, there's so much more to go, but we are trying, and the current generation, the truth is the current generation or the future generation of boys are going to have a different experience of female male than their fathers did and the fathers before them. Does that make sense? So I feel, even right now, I feel that we need to balance the scale because the boy child is lacking. They really, really are. I want you to listen to me. The boy child is lacking. Everything right now is
So?
for the girl child.
But how are they lacking? In
Because
what
they
way?
haven't. You see how women are a lot more.
They've been pushed.
Yeah, they've been pushed, they've been empowered, but the boys
women have been
haven't.
empowered since time
Now, I
began.
want you to understand
Empowered
that not the
moment
men of
the child is born, and they're like,
No, what I'm trying to say, society-wise, yes, but we have not taught our boys how to deal with empowered women, which is a disservice to both the boys and the girls. You get? So we are finding right now, even in marriages and relationships and homes and workplaces, is that women are empowered and they are being called all sorts of things by the men. You marry
They've
an
been
empowered
threatened?
person, yes.
they've been threatened
So
by that
we
power.
need to empower the boys as well, and teach the boys how and the girls how to deal with each other. Empower both, not one. Because again, the argument of it's been like this for generations. Our current kids were not there 20 years ago, so they don't have that experience.
But
You
for me,
understand?
what I found
They don't
funny-
have that experience. So we need to teach them how to deal with the current woman, not as a current man, not as a previous as
As their
past
mother.
man with the past woman.
So is it empowerment they need or it's therapy? I don't know.
No, remember,
you know, for
not
me-
therapy, not the
Do you know
boys. The
one thing
boys
that
of this
shocked me?
generation.
What shocked me, Claire, is finding out that, at first I was just like, okay, a lot of us grew up in the age of like domestic violence. We saw our moms be beaten and suffer and whatnot. And I thought that the guys we sit in class with, our age mates are different, right? They will not be doing that. But guess what? Some of the stories, like, do you know how hard it is for someone to point out and say, you see that person there, he beats his wife. I'm like, but no, that's so and so. I used to sit in class with them. They see me every day. They see me every day. Like, they are our friends. Like, we've been educated together, and or you'll be like there's a way, say a male like you've known from way back will say something to you, and you're like, I don't think you should. I can't believe you said that because you have gone to school with me. You should be treating me better because it feels like you know me. Like it's like you want to say, look, it's Prim, it's Claire from from since primary 5 or whatever. So there's not been so much change, and yet you would think that these are the people that have been exposed, these are people that have been educated. Like, oh, you know how they say our parents didn't know better, our dads didn't know better. Like, trust me, these people know better. They've known better, but it's just that patriarchy serves them. It serves them to remain with above, to remain with a higher, with an upper hand.
The thing is that the problem is now that patriarchy is being fought.
Is that a problem?
No, the problem is the fact that we're fighting something and they're fighting for it.
To
Does that
hold
make
on to
sense?
it because it
Yes.
serves them.
So what we need to do is teach our boys also to fight it as well, because we've been
You
only
can't fight
teaching
something
the
that
girl.
benefits
No,
you.
but they should not even know it, because for us women, we were taught, we were given that empowerment, go study, you can do whatever you want to do and stuff, but the boys only saw their fathers. So they can only know what were the past. They only know the past. They have not been empowered into the future, which is why you have a man that's going to say, I do not use a microwave. That is the past.
So, okay, what would that empowerment look like in your
So
mind?
if I was a boy child, anything I teach my girl, I make sure that the men in my life teach it to the boys. For example, therapy. Therapy. Emotions or emotional intelligence. Does that make sense? So these are things that are lacking a lot in many men. Okay, women too. But what I'm trying to say is that you'll find a lot more less emotional, intelligent men than you do women. So when we are teaching girls, we should also teach the boys, because in our generation, the boys were left out of that conversation, the conversations of empowering women. They was taught what their fathers knew. Does that make sense? Which is the problem we are currently facing, that you have modern women saying, no, that's toxic masculinity, and the men saying, me, I'm a man. This is what it means to be a man. Does that make sense? That's why I'm saying we need to balance, because the boys are down here. That's the truth. We need to bring it back up. You get? That's where you're finding that women are now looking after their homes and the men are chilling.
And that's why
and demanding for their male needs to be, but they're not giving the women their needs.
And that's why
there's a space, there's a gap there. Yeah. And this is what we're going to be talking about in the live show.
That's why the table will have men on it, so that maybe the conversations can be not on one side or the other, but with each other.
Yeah.
So I hear you. Speaking of the live show, it is coming up in September 7th. We'll be at Naguru Skies as always. And guys,
as per usual,
the link is in the bio. Please, buy a ticket, buy for your friend, buy for your sister. join us. It's going to be good times. I want to remind you guys that this show is actually not just for women. It's going to be good. And this time we actually have men in the panel. So I hope that we'll have more men actually joining
Please
us.
bring your husbands and boyfriends and
God,
brothers.
yeah. It's really
Yeah.
not limited
Make
to
a
women.
date.
We
Make
would
a
love
date.
to have an inclusive audience and just, I don't know, that so our exchanges are richer
Yeah.
and more. I think it makes it more when
Yeah,
we
come
have
with your
diversity.
husbands. That's
Come
true.
with your husband. Come
You
with
know,
your boo.
Come with your brothers.
I often meet men who come to me and say, I really like your show.
too.
And I feel
so nice.
you know, women say it all the time, but when the men, and we love it, by the way, it's just when the man says it.
I guess it surprises me a bit.
It surprises me, but it also makes it feel like maybe we are doing something, like something more than we think we are. Because for a man to say he watches a show of women, it takes a lot, and I really appreciate it.
Also, shout out to the women who watch it when
With their
husbands are around.
husbands.
Most people say, "But I just listen when my wife is watching." So that's how I know. That's how I consume the content. By listening as we are moving around, I'm hearing it play. So shout out to you guys for playing it at home.
So we have prepared a really, really impactful conversation, one that we need, one that we feel our generation really, really badly
to hear.
needs, and yet has never had. So we're inviting men. We're a group of women who are inviting a group of men to sit with us on our stage and talk to us. We're going to talk. We're not going to fight. There's no he said, she said. There's no me, us against them. We are one. Men and women are one at the end of the day. But for some reason in 2024, we're acting like we're so separate.
So
And
just
we are moving
2024
into
to be
different.
fair.
I mean, because this is the peak of where we've gotten right now. But we've just been living like this. And we want to see, how do we align? How do we understand the men? How do they understand us? Can we understand them? Is their mental health okay? Can they do something about it? How can we raise a better generation of men and women for the future, where they are working together instead of constantly abusing each other? And that's what we're going to have.
Yeah, so just, our contribution to a conversation, I think that will always be relevant forever and ever.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys can join us then. Also, please do click the link in the bio if you know nothing about these shows we keep sharing about. There's some beautiful local content on DStv Power Magic Prime, and now the access package is 50,000. So join us and just like be in the loop. When we have that jazz, we would love to have you join the DStv family. There's also a couple of more things I want to share. So there is an initiative called A Helping Hand. They do this every single year. And this year, the proceeds of this initiative are going to survivors of physical and sexual violence due to a lack of resources and funding at the WORI non-profit shelter. Now, we'll put the information somewhere in the video, as well as the description link. How can you contribute? You can contribute not just money, but also food, school supplies, clothes, beddings. They do this every single year, and it's a beautiful contribution to people who need it. A lot of these people are women, so it's also very special to us in a way, because it's women. So we'd love it if you could be part of it. You can give all the way to 17th August. So please do check it out in the bio. Anything you contribute will be so appreciated by the people who are going to receive that assistance. And until next time, please subscribe. Again, you've watched the episode. Again, you've not subscribed. What's wrong? Every time you are
What is
watching,
it?
you are not. What's the problem? I've forgotten the other song Claire told us. So what
Haven't
is
you
that?
done enough?
Okay. Anyway, and before we wind up, as always, look at the beautiful space we are in. Please,
And the
go
cups.
every time.
A thought of our hydration. Do not have dry lips on the set. We are hydrating you.
No.
No high.
Really, shout out to this
No
beautiful
dry skin.
space. I don't know, they just continue to do the most. You guys see it too. So enough said. All right, we'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.